Good morning. We'll start a new chapter, Periodic Classification of Elements, Session 1. So, basically when we talk about elements, elements are basically classified by Lavoisier in two forms, that is metals and non-metals. That is a basic classification what we have already studied in the previous chapter in metals and non-metals, metals reacting with acids, base, its oxides, etc. Similar with the base part. But are these classification only enough to understand about each and every metal, or how do we classify them in different manner is required? Let us check. Now apart from that, not only classification of metals, we have also studied classification of living organisms, right? In standard 9, Monera, Protista, 5 kingdom classification. Why this classification was required? Because easy for us where we can keep a particular organism based on their habitat, then based on their body type, segment, then column, so many things we have discussed in that. Similarly, periodic classification or classification of elements, when we talk about, it helps us to sort the elements. Sort the elements in which manner? About its physical and chemical property. We can sort out with respect to their physical and chemical property and arrange them properly. See, whenever the things are organized, it is easy for us. Now you have to sit and study. So if your books are just scattered over in your room, do you find it easy now? Okay, they are scattered also, you sit and study. You want your mathematics book, science book, social science book. You need to search in that whole mess what you have done. But if in case it is organized, social science, all books, reference books, mathematics, science, English. So if you arrange them subject wise, isn't it very easy for you to just go pick up the book? When you go into a library also, it has a section of mathematics book, reference book, so many sections. Why are they could have just kept all 8th standard book, 9th standard book. No, they don't keep that. Even if they keep, they segregate them subject wise, content wise. What is the best required, they keep that for easy sorting, for easy picking up the book. Similarly, elements also require some sorting based on their physical and chemical property. So we have a table. So based on that table which we follow the elements till now. There were many scientists who came upon and gave their own laws, own theories about the periodic classification. We'll also study about them. And finally there came a scientist who gave the final periodic table which we follow even today. Then, apart from this, what else we have to know here is, till now, totally, there are 118 elements discovered, right? So, total there are 118 elements. Of course, it could be metals and non-metals, but we cannot make two columns and metals and non-metals and tell that the elements are totally classified. Okay. So, first we will just see which all scientists came and gave their contribution about the periodic classification of elements. There came the Doberan's-Trietz, Newland law of octaves, Mendeleev's, that is Dmitri Mendeleev's periodic table, and finally modern periodic table by Henry Moseley. Now what did these scientists do? Each one of them gave their laws, right? When the first one gave their law, that had some demerits, some disadvantages, some limitations, which was overcome by Newland's. Newland law again had some demerits and limitations that was overcome by modern periodic table. It is believed that, Mendeleev's periodic table. It is believed that Mendeleev's periodic table was a foundation for the final modern periodic table which was built on that. Suppose if you want to build a building, right, there should be a foundation. So the foundation is there, then it is easy to build a building. So you can say Mendeleev gave the foundation for the modern periodic table to build upon. There were some flaws, there were some limitations in Mendeleev's periodic table. Very few, but the idea, the concept, what was used by Mendeleev was the same proposed again by Henry Moseley as well. And finally there was created, or there was formed, a modern periodic table which we also follow till now. let's understand in detail about these scientists. How did they come upon, or how did they give their ideas on the classification of periodic table? So, the first law was given by Dobener's-Trietz. So, what do you mean by Dobener's-Trietz? So, that means, see, Trietz means 3. So, grouping of 3 elements according to Dobener's. What did he do actually was, he thought of arranging the elements in increasing order of the atomic mass. And during his period, only 33 elements were known, or you can say that he thought, or he assumed that there are only 33 elements, there are no more elements which are present. So I can frame the law for these 33 elements only. So for these 33 elements, what he did was, he arranged them in terms of increasing order of their atomic mass. The lightest one was kept first, then the heavier, and goes on, right? So suppose if this is the way, I'm just drawing here. If I start arranging the elements, right? This is bigger than this is much bigger than this is much bigger than this. So what he did was, he arranged the elements in form of increasing order of their atomic masses and grouped them in threads, that is, grouped them in 3. So suppose I group these 3, I group these 3, and I group these 3. He grouped them like this. And after grouping, just imagine that these are the elements A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, this is how we named them. And he also told that, for example, if you add first and third element, I mean if you add the atomic mass of first and third element here, take the average of it, you will get the atomic mass of the middle element approximately. This is something called as arithmetic mean, children. You must be knowing this. What is arithmetic mean? No, exactly, you don't study arithmetic mean in arithmetic progression. You study that in your 11th standard. You know average, right? What is average? Sum of the scores divided by number of scores, right? So, if you take the average of A and C, how do you take an average? Mean of A and C also we say. If you take an average of A plus C divided by 2, what answer you will get will be approximately equal to B, right? That is what he told, which also worked for few elements. Now, for example, let me give you here, he tried this combination with, I'll just name that, lithium, sodium and potassium. Because, why did he name here? Because lithium was placed first, lightest element, combination. How we are going to place the element from lightest to heaviest. Lightest was placed first, then this, there comes the calcium, then strontium, barium, chlorine, then comes bromine, and then comes fluorine. Then comes iodine. Okay, these are the elements. Now that's already given in the book. Atomic mass of lithium is 7. Atomic mass of potassium is 39. This is 23. Similarly goes with this 40, 87, 137. Then comes 35, 80 and 127. Okay. Now what you have to do is, you have to add first and according to this I have to add lithium and potassium. So when I add lithium and potassium and I divide it by 2, so I get 46 by 2, how much? 23. And this is exactly equal to sodium. So his law satisfied here. So what did he say? That if I arrange them in increasing order of the atomic mass and group them in triads, that is group them in 3. Triads is 3. In 3 part if I group them, the mean of or the average of first and the third element, when you take, average is understood that it is divided by 2. Arithmetic mean also we say for this. Divide by 2, we get the atomic mass that is approximately equal to the middlemost element. Now here in sodium we got the exact one, but if you can see the next one, when you add here 40 plus 137 divided by 2, approximate answer is 88.5. And the last one, 35 plus 127 divided by 2, approximate answer is 81. Aren't they very similar, very nearby? Yes. But then this was the law. Then what is the problem now? We can place all 33 elements like this, right children? Right from the increasing order of the atomic mass, and when we check that, his theory was absolutely correct. But the limitation was this worked for only these 3 set of elements, I can say, or this worked for only first 9 elements, right? So lithium was the first according to Daubner. Then sodium was next. See here, 7, 23, 39, 40, 87, 137. Then here again 35, 80, 127. Yes, he had to place that chlorine, though it does not come because that combination he had to satisfy. So what did happen here now? It worked out only for these set of 3 elements, I can say set, or the first 9 elements according to Daubner. What about the remaining elements? Out of 33, only 9 were found out. For remaining, when he tried the same principle, answer was coming, of course, but it was not near. Suppose if any of the atomic mass should be, say around it was 90 or 95 or something. Your approximate answer was 98 or approximate answer was something 102. See, when we say near, it has to be in points. 0.1, 0.2. See, 80, 81 we got. 87, 88.5. Point difference is okay children, but he got a very huge difference. So that is the reason his traits were failed. And there was no other space for other elements as well. Of course, his law, what he gave confidently, what he told was, this is the statement and this is the law which is going to work. It did not work for the remaining elements. It worked only for these elements only. But still in exam, you are asked, state Daubner's law of triads. You have to give the statement. It's given in the book. It's given in the notes here, the definition. Also the second point also is very important. I have not written it. I'll just read the definition once. Law once. When elements were arranged in the order of increasing atomic masses, group of 3 elements known as triads. Spelling you can just correct here. Some places I have given triads and some places I have went wrong with the spelling. This is the right spelling. Okay. Some places it is given correct and some places have gone wrong. Do the correction. Having similar chemical properties are obtained and they are placed according to similar chemical properties as well. The atomic mass of the middle element of the triad was roughly or the average of the atomic mass of other 2 elements. Right? So this was the law given. So always when there is a law, there will be some of the other limitations. What are the limitations as well? What we discussed was, all the then known elements could not be formed in the triad. Of course, out of 33 elements, he could frame that only for the first 9 elements. Remaining elements, the law was not satisfying. The law failed for a very low mass or with a very high mass of elements. So, as techniques improved measuring atomic masses accurately, the law was unable to remain strictly valid. So, if limitations are asked, you can write this limitation. Very important children here, though his law failed, but still we have to know their laws and their limitation. So, this was about Daubner. Now, next came law of octaves. Now, octaves is law of octaves. He quoted or he gave his law with respect to the Indian music, or he compared his law to the music. Why to the music? Because he said that now in music we have notes. What is this? Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, right? So how he correlated with that? Did he succeed in this? Let us just check. So Newland law of octaves, what he did was he compared his laws or classification of elements, sorting of elements with respect to the music. Now music, when we talk about sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, what is the next element, children? It is again sa, right? So if I start sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, what is the next element? It is sa. So this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. This is eighth element. What is example? Eighth element is resembling the first element, right? Suppose if I start my music note from re. Re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. I have to again end with re. So again, if I start from here, it is again matching with here. So what did he said was, when see Doberbner first he said that I will arrange the element with respect to atomic masses, increasing order of atomic masses. In Newland law of octaves, he also introduced or discovered few more elements in them, and he said that when he arranged the elements in increasing order of their atomic mass, the first element, the very first element, properties are same to the eighth element from wherever you start. If you start from second to eighth, start from third to eighth. That was his theory. Let's just see how he classified these elements in the proper form and which elements were known during his time and how did he arrange them. So, in Newland's law time, 56 elements were discovered by Newland, and again, to his knowledge, he said that these are the only elements, and if there are again some new elements discovered in the meanwhile, there was no space here to enter that. But still, for these 56 elements, he gave a tremendous comparison to the music notes, that is sa, re, ga, ma. If I write here sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, I only write ni because again if I say sa, that again comes in the repetition. Law of octaves. Octaves means 8. So according to him, when he arranged the elements of again increasing order of their atomic mass, small, big, big, small to big, when he arranged, if I start from hydrogen, eighth element would be fluorine. So hydrogen has the property of fluorine. From fluorine, if I start, it will come chlorine. So chlorine will have a similar properties with respect to chlorine. If I start from lithium, eighth element would be sodium. So lithium would have the property of sodium. If I talk about sodium next, start from sodium, the eighth element would be potassium. It would have the same property as potassium. So when he compared this, later he was also humiliated or criticized for what he had compared, because this law was only possible up to calcium. According to him, properties of the element repeated after every you can say seventh cycle. Eighth part or eighth cycle, it was again repeating with the first element. So one cycle, when we talk about 1 to 8, first element has the same property of the every eighth element from wherever it is started. That's the law, children. As law is already mentioned in the book, you can read that and write the similar way as a law. See, table is not asked, never it is asked. But law of octaves is asked, limitations is also asked. So then he found that after calcium, for example, after calcium, if I talk about, calcium should go with zinc, right? It was not matching with zinc. It was matching, but somewhere very far, probably some other element. So every element after here, 8th element was not matching. It could be 22nd randomly, it could be 40th element, or it could be 13th element. So his law failed after calcium. So it was only there up to calcium. So that was one drawback. Second drawback was, if in case any new elements were discovered, for example, assume that any new element will discover in between this, okay? Here he did not have any place to occupy or to make them fill here, because according to him, if we fill any other element, it would disturb the law, right? So actually what comes after hydrogen? After hydrogen, helium comes, right? There was no place for helium at all. If he will fit that helium here, his whole law would get disturbed. And during his time, noble gases were not introduced, that is inert gases. That was introduced later part. So another way what you can say is, he had no space for new elements which were to be discovered in future. What he assumed was that there are only 56. From the previously to the next one, what he discovered those elements, only 56, and there will be no more elements, right? He did not even think that there could be some other element which could fit in between this, but no. So that was his failure. So limitations of law of octaves, it was applicable only up to calcium for lighter elements only. Properties of new discovered elements did not fit into the law of octaves. To fit the element in this table, Newlands put even two elements together in a slot, that too in the column of unlike element having different properties. Now, he also put them in a slot. For example, see now, chlorine with respect to cobalt and nickel were put them in a slot. Some elements were grouped in one column only, even though it could not satisfy the property. For example, it's not mentioned. I'll give you an example. Suppose for matching purpose, if I mix iron with bromine, because they are matching properties, I'll group them together and keep. Because if I group them together, my law will be successful there. So, example I'm giving you like this. What he did was, he grouped some elements, kept them together, even though their properties were not matching, but to fit it into the octaves part. So there he failed. So Newland also failed in giving his laws, but initially he gave up to calcium. His assumption and his predictions were very much true up to calcium only. Beyond calcium, he could not find that. Now, based on this part, there came Dmitri Mendeleev. Dmitri Mendeleev is termed to be a very, very intelligent scientist, because he gave such a huge contribution. That is what I told you, right? He gave a foundation. Based on that foundation, our modern periodic table was built. So foundation is ready. To build and building is very simple. So Mendeleev gave a foundation on which our modern periodic table was built. How Mendeleev did that was, he struggled day and night to get this periodic classification table. It is told that, I don't know to what extent this is true, one day when he was sleeping, he actually dreamt about how the classification could be made. So he immediately got up essence, and he had some cards, playing cards as what we had. He quickly arranged those playing cards, sorted out by writing all the elements on the playing cards, arranged them, and finally formed a table which is the Mendeleev's periodic table, right? Just so, sometimes it happens, you are in and out into a particular work, so much of dedication into a particular work, even when you sleep, you dream about that, and he actually got an idea from his dreams that elements could be classified in this manner. Then it works out. So he did that by grouping them into some groups and columns, giving them names, how are the groups classified, how are the periods classified, how many groups are required, how many periods are required. Not only that, children, he also left some blank space in the periodic table, so that he knew that future there are few elements which will be discovered and they will fit in that particular place. So let's understand about Dmitri Mendeleev's periodic table. So there comes Mendeleev's periodic table, Dmitri Mendeleev. So what did he say was, when elements were arranged in the order of increasing atomic mass. He also chose atomic mass only in the increasing form, same like how Doberbner and Newland laws of octaves, what they had chosen. But the only thing was, increasing order of their atomic masses, the element with similar property occur at regular intervals. Here the similar property occurs but at regular intervals, and we had, you can say, a full-fledged plan to how to arrange this in the form of groups and periods, which was the base or the foundation for modern periodic table. So he arranged 8 vertical columns. So I can say here as 8 vertical columns, which are called as groups. You can see here first group. So these are all first group elements, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and 8, and 7 horizontal rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In my notes, children, the 7th row is missing. So you can just refer this table to what I am explaining. 7 horizontal rows known as periods. First period, second. These are H belongs to first period. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine belong to second period. First group, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, copper, rubidium, silver, cesium, gold. These all belongs to first group. Understood how to read them? This is how he arranged them, right? And the properties occur at every intervals. Now how? Let me give you an example. For example, he placed hydrogen here. Below hydrogen he placed lithium because he found that the properties of, first he arranged all elements, increasing order of their atomic mass. Then he started putting them one below the other. So lithium has some properties with respect to hydrogen. He placed below that sodium. He found some similar properties. One more thing what he did here, children, was he made 2 subgroups, A and B. Now see here, sodium has some similar property with respect to potassium. It is placed under sodium. But he placed under the same part copper also, that showed the property but in different ways. So copper was placed in some other group with respect to the atomic mass. Then comes the rubidium under potassium, but silver comes under copper. So he made again them followed by 2 subgroups in one group only. Okay, that was the thing he made. Second thing what you can see here was all the elements with respect to their valencies were under same group. In group 1 you will find all the elements with respect to their valency is 1. Now you all know what is valency, children. We have already done that in standard 9 and in the previous part. In metals and non-metals also we have understood about the valency. I have explained you there. So all first group elements belong to valency 1, second group element belong to valency 2, third valency 3, fourth valency 4, fifth group elements valency 5. No, valency is 3. Now valency is a combining capacity of an it's an atom, right? So here it is 3 because last shell how many are there? 5 are there. That means it can receive 8 electrons. Valence electrons are 3. Valence electrons we are finding here. Then 6, how many will be there here? 6 will be there. How many it can receive? 2. Valency is 2. 7, valency is, last shell electrons you have 7. How many it can receive? 1. So 1. 8th group element he did not place because those were termed as noble gases. See, Mendeleev was so very intelligent that still noble gases were not discovered, but he had a place for noble gases as well. So during his period put together, you can say 63 elements were discovered, but Mendeleev also knew few other elements which were supposed to be discovered in future. He left a gap for noble elements as well because he knew tomorrow if noble gases are discovered, inert gases are discovered, you can't be placing them in between and spoil the whole table. So he kept a separate group for noble gases. Okay, noble gases were found later in the modern periodic table. Second most thing if you see here is in the period. Now this was a group part. Group right from top to down, when you see, they share the common balancing. Second most important thing is across the period from left to right. Let's see a look. Of course, hydrogen itself is a non-metal, so we cannot consider anything here. What about lithium, beryllium? What about sodium, magnesium, aluminium? So what is happening is across the period, we always read this as down the group across the period. That is how we relate here in the periodic table. So across the period, as you move from left to right, the elements placed will be metals to non-metals. See here, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. So from metals to non-metals. That is one thing. Second most important thing is elements which are placed in the first group, second group, almost all are metals whose property, or the alkali metals what we call, will be, you will study that later again in modern periodic table. The only one thing is hydrogen being a non-metal, still it is placed under metal because to satisfy some property. This is the only one thing, children, where nor Mendeleev nor our modern periodic table could remove hydrogen from the group, or nor did not understand where to place the hydrogen. So the hydrogen place is a question mark for everybody because hydrogen being a non-metal is placed in the metal section. That's the only one non-metal where we see in the whole table where it has some different place, right? Still now it is not resolved with that. Okay. So across the period we see that metals changes to non-metals later as we go here. These were the properties. So this is how we formed a table. Now apart from this, when Mendeleev also checked that, he left some gap in the periodic table. Can you see this dash what I have written? What did he do was, when he was going across the period or he was going down the group, he checked with the atomic masses. Suddenly, from aluminium to the next element when he went, he found a huge gap difference. Or you can say from silicon to the next element when he went, to this element when he went, he found a very huge difference. For example, when he went from carbon to silicon, from every element to another element, when he was checking the atomic mass difference, there was some negligible difference found for everything. Say for an example, we are going with respect to count of 5. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20. So difference is what here, children? Example, difference is 5. Suddenly, I will come up with a very huge difference of 100. Or I will come up with a very huge difference of 4. Everywhere I have a 5 difference here, I will come up with a very huge difference of 30. That means there is a 10 difference here, which is not possible. That means I should place some element here. Which element? I don't know. Which is yet to be discovered. Understood the point here? If I just take in terms of 5 and see that between 20 and 30, 10 difference is there. It should not be. 25 should be there here. So, Mendeleev also predicted some undiscovered element. He left some space in the periodic table and named those elements after the previous element. For example, he named this element as Eka aluminium. He named this element as Eka silicon. Why? Because Eka is a Sanskrit word. So Eka aluminium is an element which has a property. It has to be placed under aluminium. So it should also have the property with respect to aluminium. Below this, similar property with respect to aluminium it has. So Eka aluminium. He also predicted the atomic mass of this unpredicted element and property of this unpredicted element. Later, this unpredicted element with respect to Eka aluminium was found to be gallium, and with respect to silicon, it was found as Eka silicon was found as germanium, and to the surprise, later when these elements were discovered, children, the atomic mass which was found by Mendeleev was almost similar, you can say approximately similar or almost similar to actual atomic mass of these elements. Also, what properties he predicted were also the same. Just imagine, think how deep and wide his knowledge was there about these elements and their classification as well, right? But still, Mendeleev did not get any Nobel Prize for his contribution. But wherein the next scientist who came upon, that is Henry Moseley and Niels Bohr, they together put across and proposed a plan for modern periodic table. But the thing is, in our modern periodic table, I think the 101st element, right? So the 101st element is named after Mendeleev, which is Mendeleevium. So this element is named after him, I think, which is much bigger than the Nobel Prize, because this, till our human race is there, we will remember this. Everybody will study about this element. Of course, you don't study up to that level, you only study up to first 20 elements. So later in your 11th, 12th or higher classes when you study, that element name will always exist. So in our periodic table, we have an element named after Mendeleev. Okay. So this was the great contribution given by Mendeleev to the periodic table. But along with this great contribution, of course, there are, for the first time, we have merits in the periodic table. Now, what are the merits? The merits are like, he placed them in a particular group with the same valency. The second is he made subgroups which belong to the same properties. Third thing, he left some gaps in the classification in the table for noble gases as well as for the undiscovered element, where he also predicted the atomic mass and the properties of the undiscovered element, which later were true when they were found out, right? But still, there were some drawbacks in his classification, in his format of this table. That is why we follow with the modern periodic table. Now, what were those? I will just discuss those points. You can read it in detail in the notes, children. See, the first point was hydrogen. Hydrogen, though it is a non-metal, it is placed in the metal group. That drawback or that flaw is found in our modern periodic table as well. So, nothing big deal. So, the next part was about hydrogen and oxygen. Now, we have presented this table with respect to their atomic masses, right? If you check with hydrogen, children, hydrogen exists in three different forms. That is hydrogen, deuterium and tritium. What is this? As well as oxygen. Oxygen is 16, oxygen is 18, as well as carbon 13, 14. What are these called as? These are called as isotopes. Isotopes of hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, etc. Basically, what are isotopes? Elements having same atomic number but different mass number. Same atomic number and different mass. Of course, it has 1, 2 and 3, where mass, atomic number is same, 1. So, these are isotopes. That means, I have to place hydrogen in 3 different places. I means in the sense Mendeleev has to place that. Mendeleev had to place oxygen in 2 different places with respect to its atomic mass. 18, 16 and 18. Wherever it fits according to the increasing order. He had to place carbon as well as in the 3 different places. Chlorine. So most of these elements which have their isotopes, where he was not able to answer. That means position of isotopes was not discussed. Position of isotopes was not fitting into the classification, right? That was the main second drawback. Of course, hydrogen you can leave it because we have a flaw in the present table also, right? Where nothing could be sorted out. What about the position of the isotopes? That means Mendeleev have done it everything. Probably he has chosen the method wrong. That is, he chose the method of choosing this elements with respect to their atomic mass wasn't correct. But he has already proposed this table now. With respect to atomic mass, he could not place hydrogen in 3 places, carbon in different places, oxygen, chlorine, elements which have their isotopes were not placed properly, or there was no place for the isotopes. Second property. Third one, what happened was, he had to group them together. There were some anomalies found. Now, how are we grouping the elements, children? Increasing order of their atomic mass, right? If you check the atomic mass here in this case, it is not arranged in the increasing order. Though cobalt is heavier than iron, cobalt is placed after iron, where iron is placed first, right? Slightly in atomic mass. Why is that he had to place it there? He had to place it there because it has to fit with respect to the subgroup properties, right? Heavier element were placed before, after the lighter element. You can see that was one anomaly found. Second anomaly, if you go to see here, is we have placed copper, silver, gold under same group, right? Though it matches the property, but does copper and silver goes with the same thing? They are under the same group, right? It doesn't match. We also have here, for example, if you see zinc and some other element, boron, aluminium and gallium. Okay, of course, yes, silicon and some other element, if you see that, including sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. These will come under one group, including the copper, silver and gold, right? Though they are in one group, they fail to match certain properties. Though they are in the separate subgroup, but placing them in the same group, what would happen is, we had to place them with respect to their valencies and with respect to their properties matching with the previous element, not with the first and second element, right? That was one drawback what he had. So though he had proposed it in a very beautiful manner, he still had some limitations in the classification. So to overcome all these limitations, there came Henry Moseley and Niels Bohr. They put together, proposed a modern periodic table with respect to the atomic number. There also we arranged according to the increasing order only, but it is prepared keeping in mind atomic number. So if you keep in mind atomic number, children, isotopes need not be placed somewhere, because atomic number, right, same atomic number, oxygen is placed only in one place, same as hydrogen, same as chlorine, same as carbon. So isotopes property was overcome. When the anomalies of were also he could overcome in that place. Only thing which it could not overcome was hydrogen, right? So we understood about Daguerre, Newland law of octaves and Mendeleev's periodic table. Modern periodic table we will be doing it in the next session.